Hey guys, it's Mikenstein, and today I have a full review of the Xiaomi Mi 9. It's almost the end of the year, and some of you guys might be looking to get a new smartphone that has everything you need, but that doesn't break the bank. So be sure to stick around for my full review of this phone, and also drop a like if you want more smartphone reviews on this channel. The Xiaomi Mi 9 is definitely a value king, coming in under $500 and offering flagship features you're only going to find in much more expensive smartphones. For specs, you get up to 8GB of RAM, 128GB of storage, a Snapdragon 855 processor with an Adreno 640 GPU, a triple camera setup at the back with a 48 megapixel main shooter and 16 and 12 megapixel lenses below that, which we'll talk about more in a minute. You also get a 6.4-inch AMOLED display and a 3300 mAh battery. So let's start with the design. The Xiaomi Mi 9 is a really beautiful smartphone. They paid really close attention to aesthetics here, and it looks and feels really good. The outer shell is a slim metal frame covered entirely in glass. It has a crispy 6.3-inch AMOLED display with a 90.7% screen-to-body ratio. Just like the best Samsung smartphone, the display looks almost like a piece of paper on top of the display. That notch is really small, so you're hardly even going to notice it's there. The Xiaomi Mi 9 is also amazing for content consumption. Most apps can take advantage of the large screen, and audio is pretty decent even though it's coming out of a single speaker at the bottom. The screen is also covered in Gorilla Glass 5, which means it's tougher than your average budget smartphone. It also comes in a couple of different colors. This year is the gunmetal gray, and there's also the blue or purple with a crazy color shifting effect. There's also this transparent version, which looks awesome if you're into it. The only downside with this design is that it doesn't support a headphone jack or a micro SD card slot. There is a 128GB version available, and I'd recommend you get that so you do not run out of storage. There's also no water resistance, and what's also not impressive is the battery, which is only 3300 mAh. Xiaomi kind of played it safe here, but it's still safe to say that it's good enough to last the whole day with moderate use. It's able to stay alive for most of the day, including watching YouTube videos and gaming, and I usually only need to plug it in by sunset. A bigger battery would of course be nice in the 2019 flagship, but the good news of course is that you do get an impressive 20-watt wireless charging here. Xiaomi sells a wireless charger separately to take full advantage of this, and it does a great job of quickly charging the device. It just sucks that you don't get it in the box. Another great feature on this phone that we're seeing more these days is the in-display fingerprint sensor. This lets you unlock your device by pressing your thumb on the bottom of the screen. This works really well, but it doesn't work as well as an old-fashioned fingerprint reader. And in some conditions like nighttime, it's not as reliable. This is generally the problem with classic in-display fingerprint readers, but at least it gets the job done and also kind of looks cool. On the software side of things, the Xiaomi Mi 9 is packing the latest version of MyUI on top of Android Pie. The result of this combo is actually something that looks really good. The interface is much better looking now and has a pleasantly minimalist aesthetic. Everything is quick and snappy, and I hardly noticed any bugs. There's also now a bunch of useful features like additional security when installing new apps, and also gesture navigation. The new dark mode is a must-have for me as well. Even though there's a bit of bloatware, I love that you can actually uninstall the ones you don't need. That is such a refreshing change. So the performance on the Xiaomi Mi 9 is fantastic. That's because this is one of the very first devices to support the Snapdragon 855 chipset, which means it's more than capable of handling whatever you throw at it. I did a little gaming on it, and I was really impressed with how well it played because it was able to run PUBG at a playable frame rate without the phone crashing or freezing on me. And it does all that while staying as cool as it can. It doesn't overheat at all, and it sometimes uses overclocking to optimize performance. Now, you may or may not be a huge gamer, but the point is that it should be able to handle most games from the Play Store with ease. Xiaomi Mi 9 will definitely give Razer and Asus ROG smartphones a run for their money. This phone just flies through the UI, and browsing the web was super quick and responsive. The user experience and the performance is just so good for this price that I can't justify spending over $1,000 on a Samsung flagship anymore. I just can't do it. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the cameras. I'm a huge camera person, and this is one thing I don't mess with. But I'm happy the cameras on this phone are not only impressive on paper, but also in real life. There's a huge 48 megapixel f1.7 primary lens, a 12 megapixel f2.2 telephoto, and a 16 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide. It's not all about pixel count though. There's a lot more that goes into capturing beautiful pictures like software and AI intelligence, and the Mi 9 doesn't disappoint. It takes really decent photos with good enough saturation and contrast. There's also plenty of beauty features in the camera app too, but it does have some weird facial manipulation filters and things like that. I'm not gonna use most of this stuff, but it's nice to have it anyway. Taking videos with this is also great for the most part. It is capable of shooting up to 4K at 30 FPS and taking advantage of all those lenses. There's no OIS, but the AIS is actually really good here, and in fact, the Mi 9 was rated by DxOMark as the best in class when it comes to video because of its optimal stabilization, along with low noise and great low light performance. Video on the selfie camera is great as well. It produces fantastic quality, and if you're a vlogger, you will enjoy using the selfie cam a lot. The cameras at the back also perform as well as you would expect. Photos are sharp and detailed with punchy colors and great dynamic range. Those sensitive pixels also ensure that noise is kept to a minimum and low light settings. Autofocus works well, and the relatively large aperture on the main lens is excellent for depth effects. There's also a pro mode in there if you want to play around with the settings yourself. Bokeh effects also work well, and they do a great job of isolating the subject without cutting off ears. Photos do have an ugly watermark at the bottom by default, so you'll want to turn that off in the settings as soon as you get this phone. The ultra-wide angle lens is also something I really like. This opens up a lot of possibilities, from group shots and filming yourself for vlogs to getting nice wide angle shots. Having a zoom lens also comes in handy for the occasional close-up shots and taking pictures of things from a distance without losing quality. The combination of these features basically gives you plenty of options for messing around and getting the perfect shot for the situation. It's not all perfect though, as the post-processing sometimes adds a bit of unwanted saturation, but for the most part, the Xiaomi Mi 9 has a fantastic camera, and it's a great choice for amateur photographers or social media fanatics. It can definitely take on the more expensive competitors out there like the Samsungs and the Pixels. So at the end of the day, the Xiaomi Mi 9 is an awesome choice if you're looking for a great bang for your buck. It's a powerful smartphone with plenty of great features and a great design at a price that most people can afford. I must admit, I was really impressed with this phone. Usually it's the super expensive devices that do get the latest processors and the best performance, but in this phone you're getting the very latest tech at a very reasonable price. Unless of course you're the kind of person who can't live without a headphone jack or a higher resolution or a bigger battery, then the Mi 9 is the best, most premium budget smartphone right now, and I totally recommend it. I have a link in the description below so you can pick it up right now on Amazon. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a comment below if you have any video requests for me as always, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.